Hello, everybody. I'm Walter Lopez. I'm here with Hall of Famer Darrell Green. Okay, so Mr. Green, thank you for your time, and I'm happy to be with you. My first question is, in your own words, can you define mentorship and what it means to you?
Well, I think mentorship to me is where an individual who has experience in an area or field or something that's important to the mentee, in an experience where the mentee are believe that this a trustworthy person. Not only did you succeed in the area that I'm interested in talking to you about, but I can trust you that you will share with me, that you are willing to give it away, that you are sincere. So I think mentorship is about a relationship that is bonded by trust, not to mention the mentor experience, that it's worth something, it's quality, it's value, so that me as the mentor, or you as the mentee, should I say, you know that you're gonna get what you pay for. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's an important part of the exchange in trying to help the mentee become successful and not waste your time or lead you down the wrong road. So you can't just take any mentor that just shows up. So it's almost like you're interviewing me. It's like, hey, interview your mentor. To say, hey, I know I've heard about you, but are you really what they say you are? Because this is going to impact my life. That's kind of way I see it. It's super important.
It is. It really is. So my next question is, why do you think it's important for youth to have a mentor?
Well, we live in a society where even if you've got great parents, I don't like just the quote that it takes a village, but I think that there are values outside of those who are with you and close to you that love you, that everybody or nobody knows everything. So in my world, as a former professional football player and that made it at the highest level, there is a value that goes beyond or a sense of accomplishment or desire for accomplishment that goes beyond just, I'm good. I want to go to the moon. And that's the way I approach life. So as a 39-year faithful husband, I'm interested in really going to the moon as a husband in a marriage and raising children and being a part of my community. So, it just depends on where your level of excellence, how high do you want to go? And what I've learned being around you young people, I'm proud to say that a lot of you are interested in that. And that puts the pressure on us as mentors to be on our game and bring it with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So have you had a mentor that has influenced you, and how has that influenced your life and your career?
As a child, I don't even know if the concept of mentorship was as alive and viable as it is today. Thank God for big brothers, big sisters, over 100 years of service. But my dad, even though my dad ultimately was an alcoholic and got divorced from my mom when I was 10 and didn't have a father, he really was mentoring us by modeling the best that he could and by pointing us toward a place that even he hadn't gone. But I don't think that I understood mentorship in that regards, and I can speak to that. But I've had a lot of people that have given me both positive and negative examples to either follow or not follow. My background is not one that I can say, hey, this guy mentored me, that guy mentored me. But having learned the idea and having the desire and understanding that there's an extraordinary need for mentorship, it's kind of where I jumped in at. And so I've tried to do a great job with my own children and with children that are outside of me in my work. And anybody that I'm engaged with in 20 years in the locker room with guys. So I've been more on the side of giving it out than receiving it. But I'm, by the grace of God, I made it through. And so, no, that I don't have a good, big answer for you in that regard. But I certainly have been impacted by a lot of people.
And I would like to add to that. So, do you think that, like you said, you're a Hall of Famer, like you had a long career. Do you think sports is something that you could say is really something that can give people like a mentorship?
That's a tough question. It's sports. Sports, it, like anything else, can be of extraordinary value to anybody. But it can also be an extraordinary deterrent towards good. Like riches, fame, money, as great as it can be equally destructive. So I would not blanket that and say, man, sports, everybody should be in sports. No, I wouldn't say that. Because you want to be in broadcasting, or you want to be in science, I think you even said you wanted to be in potentially political science. And I don't know that just because you want to be in one field that you can get the best of people in that field. It depends on the person. Big brothers is not big athletes, big scientists, big airline pilots. It's big people. It's humans. Big sisters are not scientists and technicians, but they're big quality ladies, women, men. So different answer, but on the back end, sports and anything you have can be a tool. This is a tool. This is like a key. This get me indoors. This gets me places. But the key is, who am I when I get there? And that's very important for you to pay attention to, and not take a person's business card and that says VP of or this or that. That may be the access point, but then where do we go from there? That's huge.
Nice. That yeah. So it seems like you had something earlier in your career, and then now that grew, and now you have your own foundation. And could you talk a bit about your foundation?
Well, the foundation originally, the Youth Life, Darrell Green Youth Life Foundation in Washington, D.C. I used to do a lot of youth work. I volunteered with the D.C. Recreation Department. I was with the American Red Cross. I was involved in a lot. I spent a lot of time in the inner city, park my car and go to that park and play with the kids, just naturally. But one day I was driving home. There's a street, if you ever come to the D.C. area, it's called George Washington Parkway. It runs right down the Potomac. And on that side, you get Maryland, and this side, you get Virginia, and then you get D.C. We had a Christmas event. And a lot of kids, poor kids, and so forth, and they were asking for autographs. But I'm looking at this kid who is really cold, and he doesn't have the right clothes on. He might need his diaper, or she need a diaper change yesterday. Even maybe the parent may be not on their game. And I was driving home. Now, this is after multiple months of activities, summer, all types of activities with the youth, with the community. I was driving home, and I had this moment where I just heard God say, Darrell, man, you're a good dude, man. You've been out here every day. But he said, as you're heading home, what is your really impact? I was like, really nothing. An autograph, a smile, a hug, that was okay. But I'm not talking about for you, the kid. He still needs his diaper change. He still doesn't have a coat on. He still is gonna. So I decided to call an attorney. I couldn't spell foundation. But I said, I want to do a foundation. Well, what are you gonna do? I don't know, but I'm gonna do something. Later on, when we started giving out food and clothes and paying light bills and water bills, we were a social service. I had a teammate that went nationally and recognized that he could not read. And I realized that we need to make sure the kids can read. And I talked about home, school, church, and government. So that's when I began to develop that concept. I grew up in food stamps, free lunch, so provision is important. I had an incredible mom who loved us, nurtured us, and cared for us. And then the government said, well, I'll pay your light bill, and I'll pay your water bill, and I'll give you a house, apartment. And then we went to church, and they taught us really to try to do what's right. That's how I came up with the idea of the Youth Life Learning Centers. And then just in recent times, we just decided to move our foundation to our family name and do even more in terms of writing checks and giving and supporting other organizations. So that's the sort of the evolution of my growth and development as a man. And of course, I got married. Met my wife my rookie year, got engaged in 6 months and been faithfully married to her. All my kids are married. Getting ready to have 16, 17 grandkids. They're all married. And so, I done well in that regard, but I paid attention. I'm one of the only guys that played for one team for 20 seasons. When I was on the strike and picket line to make more money, I didn't follow money. I followed purpose. You can be a champion.
Yeah, thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Well, I've been Walter Lopez. Thank you, everybody. See you later.